Good morning, Tehmina Khan is here in TKMaths S1. In today's video, we will see A-level S1 concept coding data. So this is the learning objective, that how to calculate mean and variance using coding data. This learning outcome I have taken from the syllabus itself, so you can understand what type of term and terminologies are used. So let's go to the question straight away so that you can understand. In this video, I have taken solved example to explain the concept. Then you can find the links in the description below where I have solved question in front of you, right? So right now in this video, they are solved question to save time because already explanation will take longer time, right? Now, the prerequisite knowledge is you should know what is the formula for mean and what is the formula for the standard deviation. And this is for raw data, not for the frequency table data, right? Frequency distribution mein then we use F along. So right now I'm not using it, so I'm not going to mention it here. So your focus should be on this mean data, formula, and this is standard deviation formula, right? So before we start coding, let's see you remember how to apply these formula in a question. So it is called a starter. You can put the video on pause and try to solve this question, right? So this is the basic prerequisite. I will show you the solution of it, but you need to put the video on pause and try out yourself. Okay, so I'm showing you the solution now. So basically this is about the time taken by 7 students to become proficient in a new computer game, and timings are given to you here. First question is find out the mean and standard deviation of the time. So using the formula which I have told you, okay, so to find out the mean, the formula is sigma x over n. You will add up all the values and divide it by 7, right? So calculation I have done here for you. So your mean is 18.9. Then about the standard deviation. So you will use this formula, sigma x square divided by n minus mean square. So sigma x square means the data which is given to you, you will square it and then add up. Mean we have already calculated 18.9, and this is in 3 significant figure. Actual answer is 18.8571. You can see it here. So I have done the calculation here, but when I checked with the marking scheme, answer was wrong. So what was the reason? Can you think? Absolutely right. The point here is whenever you are using the answer of previous value, you do not use of rounded off value. What I'm showing you here, 18.9. And 18.9 was a 3 significant figure value. It was not the actual answer. Actual exact answer was 132 divided by 7. So you will use this value here to get the correct answer for the standard deviation. Because if the marking scheme says, this is a past paper question by the way, so if marking scheme says A, accuracy, so they will even mark the first decimal place if it is incorrect as a wrong answer. So you need to be very careful about it. Okay, so you see now I have used here what? 132 divided by 7 square, and here I was using 189. This is the difference. Now next question is state part 2. Which of the mean, mode and median you consider would be most appropriate? Now this is very important. That shows the good understanding of the concept. So what will you say here? Because in part 3 they are asking you the reason why you are not selecting the 2 other central tendency which you have not selected in part 2. So first of all, in part 2 you don't have to give any reason, you just have to write the answer. Median, you know, it means arranging data in the ascending order. So if I see here what was the data here, if I arrange it in the ascending order, it will become 10, sorry, let me write here, 10, 10, then 14, 15, 16, 19, 48. This will be the ascending order. So to select the median or mode, you need to arrange the data in the ascending order. Okay. So in this case, the median is the best answer. Now let's see why we are not selecting mode and mean. Absolutely right. So mode basically is the most occurring data. In this data, 10 is the most occurring, which is the lowest case. So point here is, in this type of scenario, if you will select the mode, it will not be a true representation of the central tendency. So that's why we are not selecting mode. It could be any other higher value also. It could be 19, 19. So this is not a true representation. Mean, because you know mean is what? Adding up of the data and divided by the total number. Because of one very high value, which is 48, here in this case, it will be an outlier. So you will not get a correct central tendency. That's why in this case, median is the right answer. If question asks you what is that, you can say it is 15, right? Now the question is, why do we use coding and what is coding? Right now, you have just done one thing, and that was your earlier knowledge of mean and standard deviation, right? So now what is coding? Now what I will explain to you here, it may not make sense 100%, but when you will see the example afterward, you will understand. So coding is basically a way to simplify data and it become easier to work with, right? And whatever the data is given to you, the value is applied on all the data. Now what is this value mean? Don't worry, we will see in the example. And in our syllabus, we apply coding in terms of adding or subtracting constant value in each term. So these are the 3 points you will see, and then you will actually understand what is coding. Right now you understand only one thing, that coding is applied to simplify the data so that it can be worked with. So I am showing you here one example, and I want you to observe and tell me what did you notice, because this notice thing is extremely important. So I will see your observation here. So here the sweets are packed into bags with a nominal weight of 75 gram. 10 bags. How many bags? 10 bags are picked up, and these are the weights of those 10 bags in gram. Use your calculator to find the mean and standard deviation, just the way we have done in the question of starter. So if you want to put the video on pause and want to try it out yourself, you can. So I am showing you here now. Okay. And that is the reason I've already solved, because in the explanation it takes longer. So video can be cut down by doing it in advance. So this is the calculation of the mean, because first part of the question is saying find the mean and standard deviation. So what is the answer of mean coming? 74.06. Like I said, when you will solve part 1 and part 2, you have to tell something to yourself or to me. Through comments you can tell me. Okay. And now standard deviation, just the way we have done it here. Sorry, I forgot to write down this. Okay. So you can calculate it here. I hope I have not made a calculation mistake. You can check it. Now, this is part 1. Now part 2 is saying it is later discovered that the scale were reading 3.2 gram below. So it means all these reading are what? Actually these reading were, you have to add 3.2 in each of these readings, right? Because the scale was not correct. It was 3.2 gram below. So now you have to calculate the correct mean and correct standard deviation. So if you see here, the data is changed now. Earlier it was, for example, 76. Now it is 79.2. So all the data is increased by what? 3.2. So correct mean is coming this, and correct standard deviation is coming this. So what did you notice between the two answers? If you look at this mean, the part 1 and part 2, and if you look at the part 1 standard deviation and part 2, what did you notice? Any connection? Absolutely right. Standard deviation remains same if you add or subtract a same value in each data, because in each data we added 3.2. Even if you subtract and calculate the standard deviation, it will come same. Number one, very important result. Number two, what is the relation between this mean and this mean? 74.06. If I add in this result 3.2 gram, right, what will be my answer? My answer will be 76.26. So what did you notice? That if you know the mean and you have to find out the new mean because of the correction, you just need to add that value or subtract, depends on the scale, and that's all. So the relation is, to get a new mean, you just needed to add here. If we had subtracted the data, then we will subtract it from the mean. So what was this I have written? So the notice thing is, the mean weight increased by 3.2 gram and the standard deviation is unaltered. So this is a very, very important result. And if I try to explain it to you with the help of the example diagram, you can see here. See, on the number line, if you see the marking of the original mean, look at this cross, look at these crosses in the box, right? The difference between them. The standard deviation is basically what? The difference from the deviation from the mean, right? So if I show you the same data in terms of new mean, can you notice it is 100% same? It seems like it has been translated toward right, because all the data was increased by 3.2. So that's why the standard deviation remains same, because the deviation from the mean for each value is same, whereas the mean has increased by 3.2 gram. So this is something extremely important. Okay. So this result we have already discussed. Now I am explaining a very, very important result to you, which we will use it. This we have discussed, but there is another concept which is associated with this. I want you to understand that also. And the questions I will solve will have both the ways to solve it. Now, suppose there are students and you have to calculate and their marks are represented by X. Okay. Now you need to understand what is the meaning of sigma X and what is the meaning of sigma X minus 4. Absolutely right. Sigma X are the sum of the marks and sigma X minus 4 mean each mark you have subtracted, from each mark you have subtracted 4 and added up, which I have done here. I'll show it to you, right? So when question will say, because you need to understand these terminologies, when question will say find out the mean of X, it means it is asking you sigma X over N, right? For example, total students are 7. So I need to know what is the total of the marks. And mean of X minus 4 mean sigma X minus 4 divided by 7. This is the meaning of it, right? So let's see here. For example, students have gotten these marks. 7 students have gotten these marks out of 10. What it is out of, it's not important at the moment. So these are the marks students have obtained. And because of this question where I'm saying minus 4, from each result I will subtract 4. Right? And then my new marks for the students will be this. Okay? This number will be given to you in the question, and sometime it is not given to you, rather it is asked. So when question is made something like this, for example, X minus C is equals to something, find out C. I have done those type of question also, and you will find the link in the description below where I have explained it. So these are tricky questions also. So anyway, coming back to this concept at the moment. So now if you see here, marks of this student, if you sum up, is equals to 48. And what we are subtracting? 4 times 7. 7 4s are 28. So the new total is 20. Right? I'm trying to end up to sum conclusion basically here. That's why I'm explaining you this result. So now from here, if you see, 48 is my sigma x, 4 times 7 is my 4n, because 7 is representing what? Total number of data, which I'm representing by n. And what is 20? Sum of, sigma means sum of x minus 4. So what did you learn from here? If it will be written to you something like this, for example, if I write sigma x minus a, so I can write it as, suppose the total number of data is n, I can say sigma x minus a times n, so this is equals to it, right? This is an important result. Now let's see here. I have to calculate the mean of sigma x minus 4. What is the sum of x minus 4? 20. So my mean is 20 upon 7. And if I have to find the mean of x, then it is what? 20 upon 7 plus 4. This is what I have told you. Okay, when you are subtracting certain data, just add that data in the new data. So you will get the mean of the original one. And here it is a proof, 48 upon 7, because this was here, right? So now what I have explained to you, let's solve this question. Now this is your understanding. This is the last question of the video. You try to solve it exactly the way I have told you here, the two ways, and then I will show you the solution. So you can put the video on pause. Okay. This is the way. All these are past paper questions, by the way. So now I have to find the mean and standard deviation of the time taken by Katie. So basically I have to find the mean and standard deviation of x. Okay. But the sum is given to me of the data which was subtracted by 30. So what can I do? I can find out the mean using the formula which I have told you. Sigma x minus 30 times n, right? And n was 20. So I can easily find out sigma x. If I divide sigma x by n, I will get the mean of x. One way. And second way is, because sigma x minus 30 is given to me, I can straight away divide it by 20. This will give me the mean of x minus 30. And what will I do? I will add 30 into it. Is it making sense? Perfectly okay. So you understood how to solve this question. And when you have to calculate the standard deviation of x, because we have seen in the first example it remains the same, so you simply calculate the standard deviation of x minus 30 data, because that is given to you in the question. This value is given to us here. Can you notice here? Here. It is given to you here. So in the formula, this value is already given to you, right? So I will simply write down this value and solve the question. And this value is also given to us. It is here, minus 2.5. We have calculated in part 1. So this is how you will calculate the standard deviation and mean of the coded data. So thank you very much for watching. And the other past paper questions which are a little tricky, I will share the link in the description once I will make the video, and you will be able to see it. Thank you very much. Take care. Please share it with your friends. Allah Hafiz.